Welcome to Driven Ops Power Talk. I'm Jasmine Moore.
And I'm Rebecca Heisey. We're two work besties who have spent over a decade learning the ins and outs of sales and marketing.
On this podcast, we discuss all things go-to-market operations, the people, processes, and technologies that make up the engine of a thriving go-to-market function. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Power Talk. We are kicking off season 2 today. This is exciting.
So exciting. Can't believe it's already here and can't believe how fast season 1 went by.
I know. We took a little break for the winter, and I must say today I was emptying out the dishwasher and I came across our cup and I was like, oh,
we're back.
We're back. So we have an exciting episode for season 2, episode 1. The topic today, we're talking about managing up, which is very important in operations. If you're an operator, you're always managing up. You're always setting the expectations for your manager, making sure that they understand the complexity of whatever they're asking, and ensuring that you're not just an order taker, but you are really setting yourself up to be a strategic partner.
Yeah, and I think that everyone can recognize how important this is because everyone deals with it all the time. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I constantly have to do that too. People think that your job is just super easy or you can just make things happen really quickly, and they don't understand how complex things really can get. So this is a good one.
I was recently talking to someone in the community the other day, and they were saying how their manager kept asking them about last minute funnel changes, like, oh, actually, this is an SQL. Well, let's make this the definition. And every time you change something, it has downstream effects.
Yes.
And so they're like, I feel like I keep having to manager my manager.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, that's a thing.
Definitely. And I think that it's important because people think it's just a simple change, but then you have to communicate that across the teams if something big like that is changing, because they have to understand what is now in place versus what used to be in place. So it gets complex really quickly, and we're going to dig into it.
Yes. So managing up is really important because in ops, we should all understand that we are not just doers, we're also advisors. We are advising our team on best practices, and we're constantly being that educator so that they understand what goes into what they're asking. And it's good for them to know the process, know the ins and out, and maybe know what's possible for next time. And so we're going to talk about pushing back, but offering solutions and ensuring that we're doing the right things, not just the loudest requests.
Yes, definitely. And it's really easy to get burnt out when you are constantly just taking those asks and just trying to get them done as quickly as you can. And it's not good for you, and it's really not good for the team in general, because you can make mistakes more often, and you just don't want that, right? You don't want that to fall back on you because you are trying to just accommodate all these asks when you know that there's just so much more that has to be done to make it an accomplishable item that is executed.
And let's be honest, a lot of leaders, they don't know exactly what they're asking, and it's not to their fault. They just have never been told. So let's educate them.
Yes.
So let's talk about some strategies that people can take away on managing up, because it's a muscle. It's something that we're doing every day. So these are some tactics that you can take back to work with you and try out. First, I'd say always ask questions. When you get a request from your manager, ask questions. Ask, what is the intended outcome? What are you trying to get to here, so that you can kind of work back to the right solution? A lot of the times managers, they ask you for something and it's not the outcome. It's what they think is going to get them to the outcome. So ask them what the outcome. What do you want? What's the end result? Do you have a meeting tomorrow? Also, what's the priority of this? Because if everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. And so asking them, how should I prioritize this in my current workload? Because I have these other things to do, but if this should take precedent, let me know if this is a P0, and then I'll put it at the top of my list. So don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, and I think that's a really great point, because you also have to make sure that you're educating them and setting those expectations. But to your point, you have to be able to sort of guide on that. So maybe they're saying, oh, I want this is what I want to happen, and they want you to make a change, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get them the outcome they're looking for. So sometimes you might have to say, okay, I understand now at least what your goal is, but here's sort of how we can get there in a better way. And again, it's you have to be able to set those expectations to say what you are trying to accomplish cannot happen overnight. You know, this might be, maybe you have to get all their teams involved too. That's the other thing. So sometimes it's not just you changing something in your system. You might have to have another team make a tweak to something in order for you to make those changes. So it can get pretty complex, but because people just want that really quick motion of getting their goal accomplished, then they think, okay, well, why can't this just happen so fast?
It's because you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
They are conditioned to you being just like amazing at what you do and delivering so efficiently, but sometimes you just have to make it known that this isn't as easy as how I make it seem sometimes. Like, for example, if your manager asks for a brand new life cycle report, like, I just want to redo this and can you get me a new report? It's important for you to sit down with them and walk them through all of the data sources. Here are all the data sources that go into building that funnel report. Here's our QA process, and here are the other teams that are inputting this data. And also we deal with the sync issues sometimes, so that prolongs our QA process. So all of these moving pieces together, they take into account how long it takes to deliver this brand new report. And it's just a matter of walking them through that.
And I think that what's like also sometimes misunderstood is sometimes you will accommodate them, right? So, you know, they'll give you an ask and they're like, oh, hey, I need this really quickly. And you just do it because you're like, okay, fine. Like, it's maybe the first time they've asked, but then it becomes a regular thing where it's like, hey, okay, I need it again and I need it tomorrow. And so that's another piece where you do have to lay out all of those items where you're just like, okay, I was able to do this for you, you know, once or twice, but we can't make this a recurring thing. We have to have a better strategy going forward. We have to be able to like set up a better timeline and also maybe not do a like Band-Aid process like we might have done the first 2 times. We need to like make this a actual like really nice greased wheel to keep it moving.
Because that also raises the quality of your work, because what you'll find is if you're just taking orders and doing things as they come and not following the proper process, you're going to make mistakes, and then you're going to look bad because you're making the mistake.
Lay down like what your job really is and manage up. That's really what it is.
Managing up.
Yeah, manage up.
I had a manager a long time ago, and we were working on our scoring model. And scoring models are something that you have to iterate on them. It's never going to be perfect the first time, but you have to be strategic when you iterate. So with this manager, we'd look at a week worth of data and we'd iterate. But I'd have to tell them like, okay, now we're losing our trends. We're not establishing a benchmark. We don't have anything to base our data predictions off of. So we need to be strategic in how we're iterating. So it's always best to wait a period, wait a whole quarter. And that's kind of where we landed. Like, let's let it run, let it do its job for a quarter and see where we land.
Another thing that's really important is sometimes you have to push back, and that could be hard, especially if, let's say, you're a manager or a senior manager and you have somebody like a VP or somebody above them asking for this type of, you know, data or reporting or whatever you need based on your job function that you're working on. And you have to politely be able to say no, but without really saying no. You have to say it more in terms of, okay, we can get there in so many ways, but maybe again it's not going to be as quickly as you'd like, or maybe we can try to get you certain things to give you what you need to move quickly, but again we need more time to like execute a more logical way to get to what we're trying to get to resolve the problem.
So saying no with a solution.
Yes, exactly.
Like someone says, hey, can you give me a real-time report of our full funnel analysis? And if you know in your mind that it takes 24 hours for the data to run its full cycle and sync, you can say, well, I can't exactly get you a real-time report, but I can offer you a daily trend report that will have accurate data so that you can look at it with your cup of coffee every morning. And that way you're offering a solution. You're not just saying no. Okay, so to wrap it up, managing up is really about strategically communicating. You're wanting to educate on the complexity of the asks. You're wanting to set those expectations, and you're also wanting to push back but offering solutions. So we're not just pushing back and saying no, we're offering solutions, and we're becoming that strategic partner.
And again, like leadership isn't trying to make your life harder. They are just looking for what they need. And so they don't know what they don't know. So you have to be able to educate them and explain that. But again, it's just about communicating and being able to clearly articulate the realistic expectation.
So what are some other strategies that you may have used in the past to manage up? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
What's our topic today, Becca?
Okay, so I have a really good one today. What terms have you experienced in the workplace that are now Gen Z terms that you just have no idea what they're saying? And you're like, okay. And a lot of our communication, I think, at work is done through Slack. It's not really you talking to a person. Mm-hmm. So let's specifically focus on it's not verbal. It's somebody who Slacks you maybe and says something that you're just like, I have no idea what you're saying.
Okay. Do you have one?
I do have one. So this actually happened to me recently. I was asking somebody for something and they typed NWSS and I just had to stare at the computer because I had no idea what that meant. And at first I thought maybe it was just a mistakenly typed couple of letters. Like I haven't seen this one before. I don't know. I even Googled it. I'm no shame here, but I Googled it.
NWSS.
Yeah.
Okay.
NWSS. And I ended up having to ask the person, what is this? Like, because I needed them to give me something back. And so I just had no idea what I was waiting on with these four letters. And they told me it meant no worries. But I was thrown.
I've never heard that.
No I had never heard that either, obviously. Yeah, no worries.
I heard a term, and this wasn't at work, but I heard camp. And have you ever heard that term before?
To like go camping. I don't know.
We don't know about that. Camp means so bad that it's so good. Like I was asking my Gen Z friend what this means, and she said it's so bad that it'll turn around and be good again. So something like bell bottoms.
Okay.
Like bell bottoms are so bad, but also they're going to be good again.
Yeah.
So that's camp.
Okay. So it's like it used to be cool, then it became not cool, and now it's starting to be cool again.
It's like so cool, it's not cool, it's cool, it's not cool.
That's confusing.
That's what she said.
All right, I got it. Okay. Let's see. I have a couple other ones. How about no cap?
Okay, well that's a normal one. That means like I'm not lying.
Okay, I did not know that, but I mean maybe that's just me.
No cap.
No cap.
You're not online.
I'm not online. I'm not cool.
But that's a Gen Z thing.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
All right. How about skibbity? I've definitely heard skibbity, but from like young kids.
What does skibbity mean?
Now this one is confusing because skibbity is something that is cool or bad. So like,
how do you know?
Yeah, so they're like, oh yeah, my friend is so skibbity, like she's so nice. And then you could be like, oh my gosh, that guy is so skibbity. He's like awful. Like it could mean either thing. But I feel like that's really confusing because what if you're just like, man, my friend is so skibbity. And then you're like, good or bad?
Like, you always have to ask for clarification.
Yeah.
I don't like skibbity.
I don't like it
That's
either.
skibbity.
This. So skibbity in a bad way.
In a bad way. The bad type
the bad
of skibbity.
skibbity.
All right, that wraps up this episode of Power Talk. Thanks for joining us. We're excited that we are into season 2 and catch you on the next one.
Yep. See you next time.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms.
Keep up with us and all of our hot takes on all things go-to-market operations. See you next time.